Alright, here we go. We're going to be making some electronic music. We'll be using Cubase as our DAW, our DAW, our digital audio workstation. And I'm just removing some of the things I had in there fooling around with. So we'll start from scratch here. And we'll press F11 and put in Maschine. Maschine is my favorite drum module. It's asking if I want to create a MIDI track associated with it, and we do, so we'll click Create. And then we'll change the all MIDI inputs on the Cubase track to Maschine MIDI out. And then under Group A, we're going to select Sound MIDI Batch Setup and Sounds to MIDI Notes. And that'll make it so Cubase records what we play on the pads on Maschine. And then it will re-trigger it whenever we play our sequence inside Cubase. So I'm going to filter by kits, and I'm going to fool around flip through some of these kits and find something we like. All right, I like that. We'll use that as the basis of our rhythm, our kick snare, our boom bap, and we will record that. I'm set at 140 beats per minute here. We'll turn the metronome click on. Okay. So we will use that as the basis of which we build our sound here. We'll build around this. I'm going to duplicate that track and remove what we recorded, and then record a little bit of hi-hat or shaker, some other stuff in here. We've got auto quantize on, that keeps everything in time, that cleans up my sloppy playing. Alright, I'm going to add another instrument now. So we press F11, that brings up our VST instrument rack, and we'll click one of the open slots, and we'll throw a synth in there. Let's throw in Prologue. Create the MIDI track, and we'll change our MIDI input from the Maschine to all MIDI inputs. And then we can play we can play around and find what we want. I like that. It's got a little bit of a 303-ish sound. We'll fool around with it. Okay, I'm going to record something similar there. We'll turn our pre-count on our metronome to give us a lead in, and then record. See how that sounds? All right, I'm going to duplicate that, what we have there. I'm going to copy it over again. And then on this second time through, I'm going to put a different variation at the end of the bass. And then we will play that back. We'll turn the click off. We don't need the click anymore. We got our rhythm in there. I'm gonna go to F11, look at my mixer, and on this prologue track, I'm going to put in some effects. So we'll drop in Eventide Black Hole, which is a reverb. And then we'll drop in, I want to put in something to compress or bring up the sound, so we'll put in a compressor. We'll put in supercharger. We'll add punch and the dirt on the channel. And maybe we'll pull this after the black hole. We'll pull down the black holes. No, I think I'll take that back. We'll put the black hole after it. We'll just pull the mix down a little bit on the black hole. And this is a sort of 303-ish bass. So we'll name it 303 bass. And then we'll press F11 again. And we'll add another element. This time let's add an M1. Create a track. And we're gonna put in maybe some strings or something, a pad sound, something in the background underneath what's going on with the 303 and the drums. So I'll sort by, let's sort by orchestra and play through the sounds. I like that sound. That's the first one we clicked. We'll put it on there and we'll layer it in. Alright, and then we'll flip these around. I want the first part I played to play first and the second part to play second. And listen. We'll call this track Strings. I want some reverb on it as well, so we'll go to the track and put in a black hole reverb on it. Now I want to bring down the mix on that a little bit. It's a little too prominent for my taste. Alright, let's add it, even maybe another element. Let's add another M1. And then we'll flip through the these synthy sounds. Let's go to a lead sound, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna select that pizzicato sound, F3, and we'll put on a delay. So I'll go to the track it's on and put in Guitar Rig 5. Activate the left and right channels to make it stereo, and then look in the delays and echoes. And we'll fool around with some of these delays to synchronize to the tempo. We can adjust the time of the sync. I'm gonna put more feedback in that and then pull the wet dry down a little. Then maybe we'll put in, we'll see how it sounds with a little distortion. Move that one note down. That's out of scale. We'll pull it down another half step. Okay, I want to put it on that second step of the scale. We're in B minor, it's a C sharp. I'm going to put a little lead into that. Actually, I'm not. I think it sounds good without it, so we'll leave that out. And then we'll go into the next section, basically, and we'll do some modification. We'll let the distorted sound take the lead there, become more prominent, and we'll minimize some of the other elements some. Consider minimizing the bass there. Yeah, I like that. That changes the feel of that section quite a bit. We may actually change more. Let's hear how it sounds with the strings still going in there. Alright, let's see how it sounds without that lead in there. I want to make two distinct different sections here. We'll pull the strings out. I'm going to take elements of that lead. Alright, here's what we'll do now. We'll take the section we had at the start and double. Actually, we'll double the whole thing. Take that back. We'll just copy this second section and we'll let this go without that lead in there for a little bit. I'm going to pull the hi-hats out right there before that other element comes in to add a little dynamic change. And we'll add that little figure in there. Let me back it up so I can see exactly where to place it. And then we will take this second part here, duplicate, and move the full melody over it. See how this sounds. I think I'm going to take the middle note out of this and then see how this sounds. We'll move this back a little. We'll take a small section here before the return. Maybe just put the drums in there. And then right before the loop back, we will trim out the drums. Let's maybe put a kick on those notes. See how this sounds? Take these other notes out. Alright, so we have a nice section here. Interesting section. Let's see how long it is. 37 seconds. Let's loop that whole section again. And on the intro, let's pull out the drum, some of the drum stuff. Maybe pull the snare out and the hi-hats. Pull them out of there. I'm gonna leave the last two snare sounds in there. That's sort of a left turn right there at the end. I like it. We'll leave it in there for now. We can always arrange it differently to give more space to make it feel more regular with what's going on if we want to later. But right now, we'll leave the left turn in there. I'm gonna consider just putting a bass note of the strings. Maybe pull these chorded versions out and pull it down to B2 instead of B3. And then see how this sounds on the second part here. Maybe pull this down to B1. See how it sounds there. We'll copy that over the first section too. We'll rename the track lead down here. Rename that lead. We forgot to do that earlier. I'm going to add another instrument. We'll add another M1. And then we'll browse through the vocals. Alright, I like this. Alright, we'll pick something else. I don't feel that in there. Alright, I'm not feeling this part, so we'll pull that M1 back out. Discard it, remove that track. And then maybe we'll put in a different instrument. Let's put in Reactor. Go to the player, and then put in, let's put in Razor. We'll go to Initialization Patch to zero it out. And then we'll learn on the cutoff to this knob. Alright, I'm going to go into my pad control. And I'm going to set the scene set. I'm going to set it to minor scale, and we're going to B minor. That'll map all of these pads to the scale of B minor, which is what I've been playing in this so far. Turn on Save Bass. We'll add some randomness to the sound, and then we'll activate the second oscillator and pull it to a different wave position in the wavetable. And then we'll activate the reverb and pull the wet dry down. Needs to be down more. Maybe more. I'm going to pull the smear down some and the decay down some. Let's put some effects on that channel on Razor, the reactor's output. Let's put a bit crush, pull up the sample divide, and hear how it sounds. Now we'll put another effect on there. We'll put in Guitar Rig 5. Activate the right channel. And then we'll put in a reverb. Put in Vintage Verb. Put on Studio Reverb. And see how this sounds with it. It should smooth a little of that harshness out. We'll modulate it with an ensemble bass modulation. Pull that above the reverb. Tempo sync. Pull the wet dry down some. Let's pull the, I don't know, I'll disable the bit crush. See how it sounds. It'll be smoother and less aggressive. We'll record a little, just some minor things. Now we'll see how that sounds looped through there, where we want it and where we don't. I go back to the turn the save bass off. Pull the output down on the channel. Turn up the dry wet. Turn up the decay. Turn up the smear. All of this reverb is pushing it farther into the background. Okay, we'll listen for where we want it now. I like it on this intro. Now we'll scooch these back. We took it out of the very last bit there. I think I may pull it out of this last section. Okay, and I'm gonna take out that last little clap. I'm going to pull it out of that section where the lead melody is playing there, maybe. I'm going to raise that lead sound. Alright, I'm going to add a whole nother different section of the song to this next section. I'm going to copy it over with the drums and the minimized 303 bass. We'll minimize it a little more. Then maybe pull the lead melody back for just this section. All right, let's see how this sounds with just the kick in that section. There's too much, the kick is too busy there. Put the kick in regular intervals. See how that sounds. Maybe the 1 and the 4. Yeah, I like that. The 1 and the 4 sounds pretty good. Okay, so we'll copy over this section here where it's the full verse style section, and then trim it out what we want in and what we don't want in. Might sound good just like that. Let's listen to the whole track. I have an idea here to offset the bass in that section where there's no lead. That sounds pretty good. We'll do that. All right, I'm thinking I feel like I need more space between those. Let's listen to it again. Yeah, I want to double the length of that section before the lead comes in. So we will copy what we have in this first part over to give it more space. Let this groove ride a little longer. This is our chorus section, basically. I'm going to take this section after this breakdown and copy the section we just made from before it. This is our last section of the song before the end. On this last section, instead of just ending it that way, I want to do the full loop out. There we go. And the song ends right there. So let's listen to it from the start and see what it sounds like and what it feels like we need. I like how it goes from the intro to the chorus quickly, because that distorted lead sound is sort of your hook, if you have a hook in this type of song, and you want to get to it before the listener gets bored and switches you off. We've already got them invested in the song at this point, so our sections can go a little longer. We can get into where they groove with the song. I'm going to go to Group B on Maschine, and I'm going to fool around with adding a second kit. Maybe just some, I don't know, just something else in the background. So we'll duplicate the drum track we had for it and remove what was on it. We'll move it to channel channel B. And then we'll throw another kit on here. Let's see. I need to put this on MIDI batch setup channel 2 to record this and apply it. And we'll put that extra snare in there in places because I like that. I like the way that sounded in there. All right, let's listen to what we have there. We'll call this second snare. And what we want to do on this is lower it down in the background, quieter. I'm going to take that section and copy it over. See how it sounds in the rest of the song. Alright, that's like off time there, but it sounds pretty cool. Let's listen to it again. I may use that in this section there. I think I will. automation. I'm going to duplicate that track and add in that second little hi-hat, electronic hi-hat. We'll add it into this section, just this one section where everything's stripped away. And we'll do note repeat on it. Now we'll quantize that to 16ths and listen to it. We'll call this second hat. And then we'll bring it down some in the volume. Alright, we'll make another track for Maschine, and then put it on MIDI track 3, and then under group C, we will select Sound MIDI Batch Setup, MIDI Channel 3. And then in this one I want to put it in some, instead of an urban kit, I'll put it in an acoustic kit. And then we'll put in some like ride cymbals, maybe some minor crashes. Alright, I'm going to bring the volume of this whole kit down because it's kind of loud. And then we'll listen to that ride in there. Pull it down some more. And I want to put that last ride hit exactly on the other note, the 3 there. Well, this is our chorus section, so we'll trim out what we like here. And then we'll copy it over again to the section where we had that lead chorus, the chorus lead section playing. See how it sounds. I think I'm going to bring it down some more and pan it a little to the right. Okay, we'll make another track, duplicate the track, remove what was on before, and we'll call it crash. And we'll see if there's a place for crash cymbals in this song. Alright, I'm going to pull out those first two I did and leave the last right before the transition. Leave those in right before the other, right before that ride section comes in. That is it. Electronic music song done. I'm J Steve, Chains of Logic. If you want to contact me, you can hit me up on Twitter at Chains of Logic. You can check out my music at chainsoflogic.com. I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you can show me something. Hit me up on Twitter if you can. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.
Wow.